Teningas tutua tokoa toas le helawa Wilsoni no le hene malha o enafa ma itumuta o to roa le petueli ma le vie Wilsoni o to fata fane malha ma enafa ma to henta le hene itumuta for example. As part of this series, as part of our youth series, we're interviewing members of our NZRF community, and today we have Tausie Munivai. So, Tausie, how are you feeling today?
I'm happy that we have got everyone gathered home.
Yeah, having
for the first time and having fun. Yeah.
So, start off, can you introduce yourself for us?
Yes, noia ngatako. O to asa Tausie Munivai o fane ututu kalwaka ma solta se malaha. O de henda henne lossa ma sosofata tuoi chuchu.
Next question, I got my next question. Do you want to tell us more about yourself or like what you do for your job?
Well, I'm a medical imaging technologist. So we do x-rays and CT scans and specialize in other stuff. But yeah, I studied in Fiji and decided to better my kids, especially education, and move over and yeah, did my registration and decided to stay back and work and help families back home in the island. Yeah, so yeah, it's more of able to help
Other
families
people,
back home.
Feels good to feel no, to help other people. Feels
Yeah,
good to do that.
yeah. As in one of the elders, it's a responsibility too. You expected to help back.
Give back to the community.
Yeah.
What inspired you to take on the job that you have today?
It's more of like a curveball. I want to be a navigator, sailing in the seas. You know, as a Rotuman growing up on the island, and only access is by boat or by plane. But then English is it's a very weak subject that that we in the island we have because English is, we looked at this as a subject and not a language. So we study it just to get on with and pass the exams, and that was my weakness. And it so happened that I sent applications out, didn't get through to navigation, and had to repeat. But then I got called for interview, and and I got picked, and that's why I'm here. Yeah.
But this working in the medical field wasn't in your.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
But you learned to enjoy.
Yes, there are good things that you can pick out. I guess it's life. You get to look at the positive bits and then make it
something good out of it.
Yeah, good out of it. Yeah. And, yes, that has helped me with family and brought me across overseas.
From the question I just briefly asked, what made you I think you briefly talked about it. What made you fall into this career path? Is there anyone that helped you or pushed you to take that step forward to where you are now?
Yes, I have a lot of help. As a young boy, you need a lot of backing, pushing somebody to be the back. So I had was lucky to have my late uncle Toia Munivai. He's the one that keeps on pushing me forward. You can do it. You can do it. You tend to give up easy, and he with his help, I was able to progress with my career, and made it here.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that extra push. Like you don't realize, your extra push is not enough.
No.
So you need another person or maybe more to go. Go forward. Yeah. For your job that you're currently doing, is there one thing or multiple things that people get misunderstood about?
I guess we use radiation as a tool to diagnose.
Yeah.
So we don't treat. It's a diagnostic. It's called in our career. So it's expectation that you work in the hospital, you know everything. But we don't. It's just we only know what we do, and then the other departments or areas they have their own specialized fields. But here, going out of the question, it's you get to meet lots of people and hear lots of troubles, in people's lives, and it's the way you take it in. It's you have to stand in and be someone to listen to, because most of these, especially elderly people, they are alone at home. They live alone, and they just needed someone to talk to, and just talking to somebody
They can
like
do
that,
a lot.
it helps them mentally. And if you're happy, if you have a positive mental life thinking, then it helps with your whatever troubles or problems you have.
Yeah, I guess jumping off that's like the first, I don't know, like the first step into having a somewhat healthier quality of life. It always has to start with the person starting off the conversation, or someone has to initiate the conversation, because it's really unhealthy for someone to bottle everything in.
Yes.
Because they just explode, and it just impacts not only themselves but other people. But it's very important to talk to somebody about it. Okay, so Tosia, what was your biggest challenge in becoming a medical imaging technologist?
Education. I'll say education. Education is something that you have to give your heart into and your mind into. It's something hard work, and if you give everything into it, and you're happy with it, you'll succeed. And that's the hard thing, trying to change your mindset from what you think you want to do and what you're growing up thinking that's what I want to do, and to sudden change to something completely different. It's either you commit or you fail. And
and all of that comes from the mindset, and it will decide what path you want to take.
Yes. And then what we said earlier, a push from some family member or somebody who cares. And as young people, we don't know what's the good path. And those who have experienced life, they're the ones who knows and push you through to get forward.
So Tosia, what are you most proud of from when you started to when you are now? Take you back all the way to Fiji till now in New Zealand.
Well, I never dreamt that I'll make it to New Zealand. From the island and to mainland Fiji and to New Zealand, it's taken me struggles. You have times away from family, and you have to think. As soon as I had my family and I moved here, we were away from the family for a few months, 8 months. So those are the hard bits that you have to put your mindset into, and away from families it's hard, and then further away from Rotuma, it's worse. But you have to get in with it, know your responsibilities as a Pacific Islander Rotuman. There's families that rely on you. So I guess
Any personal things that you feel proud of? Like
I'll tell you.
Character from there to
I'll tell you a story. I brought my dad over 2006, and he came over. I got called. I took him to work, and sitting in the seat, I was doing a CT scan. He stood behind it to come and see, and he stood, and I did the scan. Send the patient away. And then I said, "You're right, Dad." He was quiet, and he's got tears rolling down his cheeks.
Oh, happy tears.
And then yes, yeah, happy tears. And then I said, "You're right, Dad." And he said, "I'm standing here counting the number of screens you have in front of you, and there's 5 screens." And said, "You grew up with no electricity. You used to lie around a kerosene lantern and do your homework until I was about 15, 16. That's when we got into electricity into the house." And he said, "And now you cannot work with all that electricity technology and stuff." I'd never thought of it until he had that. And it brought tears when I think back every time I talk about this. And I guess as you live your life and progress and do all these things, you never think back until somebody who brings it up, and then you say, "Oh, yeah, you're right." But I guess that's it.
I think that kind of fits in with like nowadays we take things for granted so much without even realizing it. I think it's also, especially when it comes to like Rotuma and our culture, it needs to be more practiced. So it kind of, I don't know, mainly importantly for the young ones when it comes to our time, We want to be able to not only just revive it currently, but keep it alive as much as we can.
Which is, what the community, the Rotuman Wellington Group Fellowship, it's your identity. And then that identity helps you with life. You know that you belong somewhere.
It's all, but I think the first step for that to be achieved, I guess, is to bring everyone together. I guess, yeah. But yeah, I actually like this story. I was about to cry, but we're not gonna cry.
Every time it gets me teary. Every time
you see the change, like growing up with no electricity, no electronics whatsoever, to now.
I tell you, it's the best life. You're out there. You ask about kids these days when I go back to the island. Do you do these things? You carve things from the coconut branch, the leaf, stalk. And they hardly do it these days. Everything is either they have a phone each, playing games or watching a movie on the phone. And there's something that is lacking. It's
fading away.
Yeah. And it's sad, but I guess it's some way. It's one side is a progress, but in the other side we are losing out.
So this one will mainly go towards future people who want to become a medical imaging. What is it?
Technologist.
Yeah, a medical imaging technologist. What if someone wanted to become that in the future? What advice would you give them?
Well, medical imaging technologies it's a science, more of a science field. So if you're doing science in college, in physics, biology, and chemistry, then straight after school it's a 3-year course. But if you're an art student, then you have to do an year science in uni. And that's the way to go. And even for those who have left school for a few years, and you got to go back and do a science paper and uni, and then and you have UCall in Christchurch. I forgot Arawa or Christchurch. It's a 3-year course.
But you have to do the health science first year, and then
health science only if you're an art student or someone who has left school for a few years. But if you're a good science student and you're straight into it, and Unitech, a 3-year course. But I think AUT, it's a 4-year course that you have to go through. And it's a lot of research and it's called practical base.
Reading the scans and
practical base educational time.
So I'd say from studying in Fiji, like your personal experiences, your challenges and stuff, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a medical imaging technologist?
In Fiji or
Oh, like in general, but from your studies, your experience from your studying in Fiji, your studies in Fiji.
well, the challenges we have is finance. In Fiji, you have to apply for scholarships. As a Rotuman, you have to be well with family-wise. You have to be good financially to be able to put your kids through university. And that time it was Fiji School of Medicine. And if it's sad when you have looked back and seen a lot of very smart kids that financially the family is not available to put them through to uni.
They held back from their future.
Yeah. And a lot of things is the right place at the right time. You know, but you got to knock the doors. If you don't knock them,
it's no answer. You don't expect an answer.
So you got to do your bit, and the
kind of like a two-way path thing, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that answered the question.
If you go back into your uni student self and you had to study medicine here, do you think it'll be more harder?
No, but what I feel is over here is a bit easier. And back home, we still have a little bit of the colonial ways of thinking in my time. And we have this more of a UK standard. And when we came here, it's different. The education, the students here, they have more assistance in every way. Financially, they get student loans, what we have. And things, the students are encouraged to do well and shown how to do things. Back home we just this.
You do what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
You choose your own pathway. You choose what resources and tools.
Yeah. And either you do your bit or you don't.
So, for your career, being a medical imaging technologist, do you think are there any specific qualifications or skills that future medical imaging technologists need to have to become one? Specifically, any specific requirements or any in general, if you want.
Apart from education, for me, I think it's being able to communicate, and you have to have that caring personality. You know, we deal with patients, and you have to have the time to and the care in your heart to be able to connect, because you don't. When we get patients, they're not people that are just walking on the street, normal feeling people. You get sick people, and they needed that care. That's why they're there. And yes, as a for us, Rotuman Pacific Islanders, we have this extended family kind of thing that we look after our own, and then I don't see any reason why that any Pacific Islanders don't have. You know, we have it already inbuilt in us. All you have to do is just natural. Yeah. So if you do it in education, you can go anywhere.
I like that answer. I really like that answer. After my next question, what are the things that are not so great about your job? Like anything. It could be.
Well, as you can hear, nowadays we have shortages everywhere, and a lot of time at work. And apart from enjoying doing diagnostic, helping the doctors with all diagnosis, diagnostic imaging, and it's the shortages that we face these days, and you for everything you got to look at the positive thing. You get to meet a lot of people and help in some way. You know, it's that's the only thing that an expectation of we have a 24-hour, as in medical we have provided 24-hour, 24/7 cover, and somebody has to do it. So as short as you have to be awake most of the night and expected to be back at work the next day. Yes, apart from that bit, everything is.
You tend to find yourself covering nowadays, like covering more than before?
Yes, it's on call, you know. So if you look in the future, near future, there is a touringa or there is a wedding back on the island, then it's all right. You say, okay, I'll do that, so that you can cover and help out families back home. You know, it's those kind of things. But otherwise, yeah.
So apart from that, you just enjoy being
Yes,
in medical. That's
you
good.
got to you have to find that positive in everything. You know, it's people say this, oh, the job is not good, but every job has its own negative bits. But if you can dig out that positive into in that area,
You'll find your passion.
you find it. Yes, and it helps you in your life, your personality. If everything is on the negative side, then you're not living the life. Yeah,
And then again, everything starts from the mindset.
the mindset.
Mindset.
Yes.
I like this question. I actually like this question. What's the best piece of advice that you've received that helped you? Take a minute to think. It was probably a lot of advice that you've received.
Well, I think this is always from all from the parents. You know, you get the good advice from your parents, and I get it from my parents and my late uncle too. You know, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. You know, you reap what you get. You know? So
Very true.
as a for example, as a mental imaging technologist, we provide diagnostic images. So if your work is not good, that patient that just walked out of your room won't have the good treatment. So my dad always say that an image is always a reflection of yourself, and it doesn't matter if you painted the sunset, sunrise, or paint somebody else, but that's not that person's image. It's your work, your image, what you have in your mind that goes into the paper.
It's like part of you is going into what you're doing for others.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and then what you do to other people and what you do in work, it comes back not to you only, but to your kids, to your generation. It's
You see the impact upon other people as well.
Yeah, and you know, my advice is for the young people these days. You know, you give your heart to anything you do. It's either you mopping the floor, sweeping the floor, or you're sitting in the office. You have to. It's from you. Give everything you have, and you get that back. And that's the important thing in life.
Like, I feel like sometimes that becomes the hardest part. Like, not like getting into, no, I won't say routine, but like getting into that habit of training yourself to become the person that you are. It's always the first few weeks that always gets, hard, I guess. But yeah, I think
it's more of you train yourself. You got to do the first thing. Okay, what's the positive bit? let's do the pros and cons, the positive side of it, and then how can I multiply that positive bit to overcome the negative. Yeah. And when you get that, then you work on it. You know, there is no time. Life is too short to be thinking about the negatives.
Yeah. True.
You multiply that positive, and that positiveness, it spreads. A smile spreads.
You'll mask all the negative things.
Yeah. It's something that it's hard, but it's something that you have to give your heart into it.
Yes.
To do that.
No, I actually loved this having to have this interview with you, telling all the interesting stories and stuff. So yeah, that's the end of our interview. Thank you, Tosia, for joining us,
thanks, yeah.
telling us all your knowledge, not mine, all of Tosia's knowledge and stories and stuff.
Aye.
And yeah, I'll sign out.
Thanks, yeah.
Thanks, yeah.